Well, we'll see what we're gonna do.
All right, it's going live. So.
Dabo presents Bullseye Sports, keeping Detroit on target. Hosted by James Wardell, Mark Jones, and Reggie Walker.
Hey, Detroit! It's getting good in Detroit. Football is back. The first game is tonight. Woo-wee! Reggie, your dad used to go to that game every year, didn't he?
Yep, sure did.
And it's back. And hey, man, I just can't wait. Michigan is back up there, and they're practicing. Everybody is into it. Who will be the Michigan quarterback? Will the Lions go to the Super Bowl? Will they win the Super Bowl? You got the Olympics. Oh, what a great time of year, man, for sports. If you like sports, you gotta be happy now. Hey, guys. Jimmy Wardell, how was your week?
It was fine.
Reggie Walker, how was your week?
I was good. I was chilling with that funky feeling, man.
With that funky feeling. You've been saying that for a long time.
It's true.
We go way back. We go so far back. I just saw Cyrus Shaw, and he was talking about how his senior year, the UNE should have been at least had gone to the dome because they had such good talent.
He is correct.
They had such good talent, and the speed that was in the backfield was fantastic.
Speaking of talent, our resident Lions are headed for hopefully a Super Bowl season. Now, they have re-signed Taylor Decker this week, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff, and Penei Sewell. What do you think are the next core players that the Lions will sign next?
Well, let's talk about who's out there to be signed. I know who their core players are. The offensive line is definitely core. On defense, you got to look at the boy from Divine Child.
Hutchinson.
Yeah, he's core after the ones you just mentioned. And that's what I think so far. You got to give that boy Aiden Hutchinson all he's got. Reggie, I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Well, you know what? When you take a look at the Lions, they've done in the building of this organization, the first two things they've done exceptionally well. They've procured talent and they've installed a winning culture.
And to your point, Reggie, we've got some of the top players in positions. That's never been 5 or 6 guys that are considered the top player in their position.
Or top players at the position. Yeah. I mean, right now, the only player that we have who's considered a top player at his position is Penei Sewell. But we do have other players who are some of the best, specifically Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's considered to be a top 5 wide receiver. But the third part comes about it now, and we're going to play, kind of ghosts of future past, right? We want to talk about the Detroit Lions and what they're going to end up being. Because in order for them to maintain the excellence that they've shown over these last 2 years now, they're going to have to make some key decisions as to who they keep. So you mentioned it. Hutchinson is one of those people that we're talking about. Okay, we got to re-sign this guy. Right?
Can't let him go. He's the heart and soul of the team.
Based upon his play last year and projecting him going forward, Gibbs is another one of those players that we think he's going to end up being one of the top 2 or 3 backs in the league.
But I'm surprised that he's not even voted. He's not even ranked as number 1. They're going to start Montgomery.
Which is fine because
That's the way it worked last year.
That's the way it
out
worked.
well.
Yeah. At the end of the day, all that matters is who's getting the most carries at the end of the day.
Exactly.
If Williams starts, it really doesn't matter.
Starter is a name only. And Montgomery, to his credit, got 1,000 yards. Gibbs was short by about 50. And if you count his playoff yards, he got 1,000 yards.
And reality,
so that tandem worked.
He didn't come out until probably game 4, game 5 of last year. So it took him a little bit to get going.
Well, 1,000 yards means doesn't mean what it used to be when they played 14 games.
It's only
maybe
about
16.
60.5 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the reality is,
But,
you should be judging backs by if they rush for 1,200 yards.
but when you are a tandem, if both of your tandem can get 1,000 yards, that's pretty good.
Well, what about their total offense? Passing, receiving, and all that.
Now, Monroe St. Brown got his money. Do you think Jameson, if he has a breakout year, will get some money?
I'm going to tell you what, I think Jameson Williams is going to end up having an outstanding season this year. And 2 years from now, he will not be in the Detroit Lions. As good as he is.
Because we won't pay him.
No, you won't be able to afford it. So look, you're going to have Hutchinson that you're going to have to sign. You're going to have to re-sign Laporta. You're going to have to re-sign Branch, or possibly, right? Or you got Gibbs that you'll have to re-sign.
They say receivers are a dime a dozen anyway.
You've got McNeil on the defensive side of the ball, right? So I mean that's 5 players right there, Mike.
Maybe even Campbell.
And even potentially Campbell.
Well, if their people are right, the pundits say that wide receivers are a dime a dozen. I don't believe that. If you got a good receiver and he works with your quarterback, you might try to keep them if you can, but we'll see.
Well, it becomes about the accumulation of talent. So how many of those guys? There's 5 guys there, Mark. How many of them realistically will the Lions be able to resign? Laporta is an absolute must.
He's a must.
Branch is close to a must.
Yes.
Now,
Is the quarterback going to be there?
he's already signed.
He's already signed.
But are we really going to keep him though?
He's signed for 4 years.
You know what?
So,
You already got him at a bargain, and the season hasn't even started yet.
but you know what, Reggie? The Miami Dolphins signed 2, and they already had Jalen Waddle and the Cheetah, Tyreek Hill, signed. So they have a lot of money tied up in their offense, and guess what's going to suffer?
Defense, of course.
Defense.
Yeah.
So you're going to look long and hard about re-signing Jameson.
Here's what's going to happen, guys. Brad Holmes, we are truly going to find out how good he really is. We knew how good he was, right? Coming from Los Angeles, he had an excellent reputation as far as being able to find talent. He's done the exact same thing here when he came to Detroit. So you know what? Thumbs up. We'll give him accolades all day long for that. But now what we're going to have to see going forward is how good is he at maintaining a team? And that's a really difficult task in this age of the salary cap.
Oh, yes, it is. But I think he's up to the task. Man.
Me too.
The guy is good, man.
I mean, will he go the route of the Rams and start trading draft picks for established players?
You know, the one thing about Gibbs that's really not Gibbs, excuse me, about Holmes that's really, really interesting. He'll come up and kind of tell you what he's going to do. And thus far, he's been right down that line. He said, you know what? We're going to draft players. We're going to get some core talent on this team. And we're going to take care of our talent when it's time, our homegrown talent. And I tend to think that Holmes thinks, you know what? I'm going to always get players on the cheap when I possibly can through the draft. That way I've got them to 5 years. So you know what? As good as a guy like J-Mo is going to end up being. And I think something's kind of clicked in his mind. It's year 3. I got to produce. I want to get paid. That's what you're seeing right now. This kid wants to get paid. Outside of the Cheetah, he's probably probably the second fastest guy in the league.
In the league, that's saying something.
That is.
Now, we talked about money, and let's look at this aspect here. You have 3 wide receivers holding out. Dallas's wide receiver,
Lamb,
CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Ayuk in San Francisco, and my guy down in Cincinnati.
Oh, not Jamar Chase, but
Yes, Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Because they franchise tagged one receiver, they traded another one to Tennessee, and now Jamar Chase is up for his money. Which of those 3 do you think the holdout will affect the team the most?
Lamb.
Is that because he's a Cowboy?
No, I think it's because they need to work on their timing and all that with Dak Prescott. I think that's going to hurt their chemistry a little bit.
Well, they've been around. I think how many years has Landon Prescott been there?
Lamb's been there at least 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
Well,
so
he's got to be going into at least his 4th year right now.
their chemistry will be okay, but if he doesn't play, what do you have?
That's my point.
I mean, in Cincinnati, you've got, I think Tyler Boyd is still there. In San Francisco, you've got Debo Samuel, you've got McCaffrey, you've got Kittle.
They okay.
So, and they drafted 2 receivers, one in the first round, one in I think the third or fourth.
They
Listen,
okay.
it
So that will
takes,
be okay.
yeah, I don't know. You say that chemistry is going to be all right, but I don't know about that right away. Now they'll go and get into form, but when somebody lays off like that, it takes an effect on them. It might take them 2 or 3 games to get back because they don't have the practice time, they don't have the exhibition time, and I think
But you got to remember, they're not playing in exhibition games anymore. Right?
Yeah, but if that were the case, all 3 of those would suffer the same consequences.
and they are to that extent, yes. But I think it could be worse on this team with Dallas because of where they are. People just get in their heads so much, and they talk about Dak Prescott. I just think that everybody needs to be there for him so that he can hit the ground running the first game, and it could hurt. It could really hurt their season if they're not there together.
I don't feel sorry for Jerry Jones.
I don't feel sorry for him,
Because
but I do feel sorry for Dak Prescott.
He has made his bed and now he has to lay in it. Dak, instead of signing for maybe 53, something like that, he's going to have to go 60 now. He's going to set new records. CeeDee Lamb.
But you know what, Jimmy? We're getting at a point that one of these teams is going to say, you know what, enough's enough. You're not a $60 million. Yeah, you're the next guy up, but you're not a $60 million quarterback.
You're right, but if he hits the open market, he's going to get that and then some. Because I can't remember when a prime quarterback like that has hit the open market, the free agent market with nothing.
Well, I can't remember when a prime quarterback like that has hit the free agency market, and the biggest question mark against him is he can't win a big game. His inability to be able to win in the playoffs. So I'm not saying that Dak Prescott is not worth $50-something million. I'm not pushing $60 million for Dak Prescott. I just can't do it.
Yeah, but there'll be at least one person. Hello, New Orleans, the Las Vegas Raiders, that will say, "Okay, I'm gonna take a chance." He couldn't win in Dallas. That might be Jerry's fault. That might be McCartney's fault. But he's gonna win here. It only takes one, and I can see somebody taking that shot for him.
Yeah, 60. I mean, you know what? I look at the money that Tua got, $55 to $6 million.
That was too much.
That was a lot of money. And like somebody said, you know what? You could have taken $50 million off that contract, and that might have been worth it to him. But he's winning. So now what he's got to do, he's got to be able to win games in that cold environment.
He's got to win games against winning teams with winning records.
Prescott wins too. He might not have gotten to the Super Bowl, and he gets to the playoffs, but he's a winner. He wins.
But
you know what? The playoffs.
Of all the markets, Mark, you know that it's not about getting to the playoffs. That's an expected thing. That's just like saying, you know what, your parents, they expect.
Well, you just called the other guy winner. Did he get to the playoffs? Did he get to the Super Bowl? The boy.
I
didn't call him. I said I would have signed for him the money that he made.
Of the Cowboys fans being clowned because they have not been to a NFC title game since 1995.
Well, I hope they don't get to one this year. That's for sure. Because we got the Lions. I would root for them, but I can't root for them this year.
Now let's talk about another thing that Dallas doesn't have: a top 5 running back in the NFL.
That's true.
Can you? What are your top 5? I'm gonna start with Reggie.
You know what? McCaffrey might be the baddest white boy that's ever played in the NFL.
You got to go with McCaffrey.
He's number one. Now, the only thing that I would say,
Injury.
Yeah. And you know what? I think this is his 7th, 8th year in the league right now. Superior backs don't fall off to about 32, 33, which obviously he is. You know what? He's got great pedigree as far as his mom and dad. I guess he's got a grandfather who was a 200-meter Olympian, silver medals. But that being said, though, you know, McCaffrey is he's an uber running back. he's a bad man, regardless, black, white, green, or yellow. I gotta put Gibbs on that list going forward.
Yes.
You know what? I think ultimately Gibbs is going to be seen as a top 5 running back.
The Lions are giving some grief for drafting him that high. But I think in Brad Holmes' geniuses, you get what you want.
And you know,
You're going to get it.
it's printed out of U.S. currency, and Brad we trust.
And I think that he was a steal at 12. Now, I look at someone like a Jonathan Taylor. He held out, was injured a little bit, but I think he, along with Anthony Richardson, the quarterback in Indianapolis, they're going to do some things. And Taylor is a solid running back.
You know, go ahead. I was going to say the other person you got to mention, and I know he was only a rookie last year, but Bijan Robinson out of Texas. Kid is an absolute stud.
Who do you take, Bijan or Jameer?
I love Jameer, but I think I would take Bijan.
What about Derrick Henry?
Well, Derrick Henry, former 2,000-yard runner with the Titans. You know, there are a lot of players that go from the Titans to the Ravens. And I think that he will only enhance Lamar Jackson with a bona fide running game.
Well, he's tailored
at the end of the game, yes.
He's tailor-made, and I think the only thing that, fortunately, like Derrick Henry, because that's somebody you can pound the ball with, Jackson will no longer have to prove himself as being, you know what, I can do it from the pocket. I can do it from the pocket. He's going to be able to hand off to that big horse back there and just let him do his thing.
Saquon Barkley, what about him?
I don't consider him a top 5 back, but I would tell you this: I think Saquon's going to have an outstanding year at Philly this year. I think only because of the fact that he hates the Giants so badly and he wanted to stay there incredibly bad. He wanted to stay there.
That goes down as one of the stupidest decisions when you pay the quarterback Jones all that money and you don't have any money for Saquon.
Well, it was interesting enough. The owner of the team, the Mirror, he said, "You know what? Trade him. All I ask you to do is trade him anywhere but Philadelphia." And what did he do? He trades him to Philadelphia. He's going to have an outstanding year.
No, he didn't get traded. He
He
signed as a free agent.
Hey, he gets hurt too, though. He's always hurt.
Yeah, but you know what? Surprisingly, who's our former running back is now with Chicago.
DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, DeAndre was hurt all the time. But you know what, though? I'm telling you, he's running behind a really good offensive line down there in Philadelphia.
He's in Chicago now. DeAndre.
Hey,
No.
Oh, okay.
Don't forget about Nick Chubb too.
Yeah, Nick Chubb
Coming off an injury.
He's coming off an injury.
But he's still good, man.
We
He
have
comes back
to
good.
see what he's going to do.
He was good. I mean, he had a horrific injury. The fact that he's even still trying to play football is amazing.
Now I'll tell you my sleeper, Josh Jacobs with the Green Bay Packers.
What about Montgomery?
Because I think that they wanted to, they had a good back, but they wanted to get a hitter, a bumper like Henry. They went out and got Josh Jacobs. So we're going to see.
What about Montgomery? Montgomery's great. They got the Lions.
Well, no, Montgomery's good. He's not great. Montgomery's a really, really good running back.
They're a good tandem.
They're a great tandem. That's the best in football.
And I think if you look at
Thunder and lightning. I got you over there.
what is going now is you got to have tandems. You got to. Pittsburgh, I think they almost had 2 1,000-yard rushes. You go with tandems, you can run it longer, you can run it better.
Well, in today's NFL, having to play 17 games, you have no choice. You got to have a good second running back on your squad. Because if you don't,
If one go down, that's it.
yeah, just attrition is going to take you out.
Got to have a good backup quarterback too. That's where the Lions are iffy.
The only one that I had mentioned that we didn't mention was Breeze Hall out of the New York Jets. He came back last year. I think he had a severe injury his rookie year, but his sophomore year he came back. He didn't have a quarterback last year, so we'll see what happens with a quarterback.
He had a very good year last year, despite not having a quarterback. So,
Well, let's hope the Lions players stay healthy, because that's a problem.
Let's move on to the Tigers. The trade deadline was this Tuesday. Are you impressed with what the moves the Tigers made?
Not at all. Didn't do nothing for me. I think they gave away Flaherty, didn't get much for him. I know that he was in a superior position because he had 1 year, this year, and they probably were gonna lose him with nothing if they didn't trade him. But did they really get anything? They got some prospects.
You got a top prospect out of the Dodgers organization.
You think you did?
Maybe.
Let's hope so. I don't know.
They wanted more, but they had to settle with what the Dodgers gave them.
By some scouting services, he's considered to be a top 100 prospect.
But you look at what the Tigers traded. Canahan, 1 year contract. Flaherty, 1 year contract. The reliever with the handlebar mustache, he had a 1 year contract. And the other player they traded, they all had one, they were signed to be traded.
Yes.
And, now if you look at the staff, you've got 2 starters, Carol Montero and Tariq School. You got a lot of clothes, you got a lot of bullpen guys. You have a hole in the outfield. Hopefully Parker Meadows can come back up Friday or Saturday. And you've got, you've got a hole in short and third.
Well, they traded for a shortstop.
They're all minor leaguers.
Yeah,
When you trade these players, and Javi Baez is on some type of emergency list, so he's not playing. So
he's on the rebound.
They're going to need a lot of help, and I don't know. It remains to be seen. You remember there's a haul we got for Justin Verlander. Only Jake Rogers is playing in the majors right now. Franklin Perez flamed out. Daz Cameron, I think he might be in the minor league system for Oakland. He might be playing for Oakland. But trades are in.
Well, baseball is the most difficult sport when it comes to trades. In any other game, back at the NBA, the NFL, you're always trading for known quantities. In baseball, you're still trading for potential at that point. We got a guy who's considered a top 100 prospect who could still completely flame out in the major leagues.
But he's a catcher, right?
He's a catcher. Yep.
I mean, we got Dingler, who just came up. We have Jake Rogers. And like we were talking earlier, if you get a catcher that bats 230 and controls the running game, you're all right. I would say catcher would be one of our least positions that we need help on. We need help on the left side of the infield.
Unless he's got a bat. And supposedly he's got a bat that comes with it. So if you can generate some power out of that position along with somebody to be able to call the games, then that's a huge asset for the Tigers.
That might be why they called up Dingler to see what he has.
I mean, realistically, when you look at this team, especially early on in the season, the number of games they were losing 1-0, 2-1,
Yes.
3-2.
Yeah.
You know what?
if they had a decent bat,
If they had just 2 major league bats,
that's all they needed.
they'd be right in a pennant race right now,
That's right.
or at least a wild card race.
They're only a good week away from being in the wild. They're 7 out.
Yeah.
So they're not really that far. But, so off to next year, as Tigers fans, we know well. What do you think they need to contend for next year?
2 bats. And like you said, a shortstop for sure. Go ahead, Leverett. Mr. Leverett, Quintus Leverett
Yeah.
is
Voice
on.
of the fan.
The Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad they didn't trade School, and they need to get some more pitching, starting pitching. Of course, they need a bat, but they need to get at least 2 more starting pitchers. You got to get a right-hander that can be just like School, right? So every other day, at least win a game. But they mathematically, they could very well make the wild card.
But they gave up too early, man, because they, like you said, they got guys that wanted to trade, and they let them go. Flaherty was going to get you some wins, too.
They signed those
They
guys.
gave
to trade.
up, man.
I agree with you, Mark.
But no,
They should have kept Flaherty.
Even if you keep Flaherty, one, there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to sign him because he's a free agent. Secondarily, that means the Tigers would have to acquire players, and they're still not really in a position to add players and be able to win. And so, you know what? I mean, it's been said, and I've heard it on other talk radio stations, and I tend to agree. you know, this team is better, or probably going to end up being better than they were last year, and have a worse record.
They have a lot of. If you look at the guy they signed in the spring training, the second baseman, he started out horribly, but he is playing great baseball now. You look at Justin Malloy Henry.
Is he the DA?
He's DH left fielder.
They say
He is coming
say
on.
he can't catch with the.
Well, you know, we're not here to talk about you can't get eaten.
What we here to talk about? Why can't we talk about
The young man from I forget his name. He came in. He's playing in center field, right field now. He's playing pretty good.
Let me ask you.
Gary Carpenter will be good.
But
Now you might need a first baseman. I don't know what they're gonna do with Torres.
let me ask you a question, though. You brought up something. We just brought up a guy who only has part of the game. They say he's atrocious at catching the ball in the field, but we want to keep him because he
can hit.
Can he hit?
I mean, yes, he can
Bobby
hit.
got to get one.
You put him in DH, so you got one. I've watched him play, and his glove has not been bad.
They say it's terrible.
It's been at but I'm talking about my eyes, not they.
But it's rumored that, you know what, they're going to end up converting to a first baseman, and then you can put him in the DH position.
He might. I mean, he hasn't been. I've seen some people out there who were terrible. But he isn't there.
I want a guy that can do both, at least a little bit. But okay, I don't know what your eye does, whether you're a good judge of talent or not, but we will see.
In baseball, I will put my eye before your eye. Other sports, football, I'll give it to you. But baseball, this young man can hit.
Well, you know what? They signed him to a lot of money during the course of early on during the course of the season before it started. Excuse me, not the season, but before the season started. So obviously,
No, that's the second baseman. I can't. His name is escaping.
Not Young, right?
No, not Jace Young. It'll come to me later. But anyway,
We just need some hitters and a shortstop. That's for sure.
and third base.
So let's get a whole team.
No, I like.
You said
I
first, short, and third.
Okay, you're platooning now at first.
That's a lot of
One of
people,
your
man.
platoon players was just traded. You've got a second baseman. You're platooning in shortstop. You're platooning in third. You're going to get some of those players in. Now, we hope Torkelson will make it.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't, we got to get somebody. Now,
Don't wait. Get him. You forget him.
here's a question for you, Mark. Who is the best living baseball player of all time? I'll preface that by saying we've had two of, I thought, the best. When Hank Aaron died in, I believe, 2022.
Barry Bonds.
And we've had Willie Mays that just died this year.
It's either Ken Griffey or Barry Bonds. That's what I think, Barry Bonds.
Why?
Because even before steroids, he was a Hall of Famer. The guy could hit home runs. He was fast. Played the outfield, silver bats, golden gloves, and with steroids, he holds the record. So I love him.
You were good. I hadn't thought of Griffey, but Griffey would be up there with Bonds. Some people say the best player right now living is still playing. What say you, Reggie?
Shohei Ohtani. It's a bad man, right?
He may be.
He is the best player I have ever seen in my life. You know what? There's nothing he can't do.
He can get out of a gambling situation. You're right. There's nothing he can't do.
There's nothing that young man can do. Somebody got to take the fall for him and say, okay, Major League Baseball is not going to let that kid sit on the pine for an indefinite period of time.
Give Pete Rose.
That's right.
His Hall of Fame.
Money, man. He draws
Jack.
so much money.
A lot of money.
Give Pete Rose his Hall of Fame jacket.
Are there any
If you let what's his name out of it.
who's the best pitcher still living?
Nolan Ryan's alive, right?
Justin Verlander.
I'm going to say maybe Pedro Martinez as well.
Plenty as well as who?
You said Justin Verlander.
Yeah.
You said
Gibson
Nolan
Ryan
Ryan.
last year, right?
Yes. Bob Gibson just died. I think Drysdale has been dead for a while. Is Sandy Koufax still alive?
Koufax. Yeah, Koufax.
Koufax dead. Okay.
Yeah, Nolan Ryan was smoke, baby. You can throw that ball.
Tom Seaver's dead.
Yes.
That makes you think, though. Oh, we saw some great ones, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
And
you know,
what about Jim Palmer?
Jim Palmer, I'm gonna throw a real curve at you right now. Satchel Paige.
Yeah, he was great, but he came over too late.
Satchel Paige, he was about 48.
Yeah, but see,
I thought he
here's,
was playing in his 50s. He didn't know how old he was.
but here's the thing, though. You put a man into the Hall of Fame who only had approximately 10 years in the majors. That's how dominant he still was. I mean, the greatest Satchel Paige story that I've ever heard is that the outfield is messing up, right? They're down, and Satch tells the outfield, says, "Look, man, you guys are messed up. Just go sit down." Takes the outfield, this is in the Negro Leagues,
Mm-hmm.
takes the outfield out and says, "You know what? The remaining batters will not get a hit." And he strikes them out.
Now, do you believe that happened?
Yes.
You know what?
It's folklore, but I believe it because Satchel Paige was just that type of player.
I've heard the stories from not personally, but I've heard those anecdotal stories in a lot of baseball circles. So Satch was obviously a phenomenal ball player. Phenomenal ball player.
It was.
You know what? Of all the pitchers I can think of that just, wait a minute. Steroid or no steroids, I had to say Clemens, man.
Well, here's one of them.
I forgot about him. You're right.
Yeah, steroids or no steroids, I got to say
Hey,
Clemens.
y'all forgot one. I ain't heard y'all say one thing.
Say.
Jackie Robinson.
Oh, Jackie, was he great? A great baseball player?
He's a Hall of Famer, but he wasn't great though.
I like you, Jackie Robinson.
We all like it.
Yeah, we all loved it. I loved it.
But
No question.
you know, we've had this week's tomorrow starts the second week of the Olympics. How impressed are you with USA basketball, both male and female?
I'm impressed. I think they're getting better. They're learning to play together. They're learning to share the ball. Yesterday was a good display of basketball intelligence. They did well. I'm happy for them. But they have to stay on that level and do it every game.
You know what I'm shocked by when it comes to USA women's basketball is how stupid they were by not putting Caitlin Clark on that team. And Angel Reese. You got a game right now which is at its zenith as far as interest, which basically means men are watching the game for the first time, right? And them in their idiocy decide, you know what? Yeah, Caitlin's bringing us a lot of plug, a lot of juice, but you know what? It's better for us from a marketing perspective not to put her on the team.
But how could they say that? And with a straight face. What's up, Leverett? You got something on your mind?
I agree with Reggie. How could you, Angel Reese and Caitlin, you should at least have them on there, right? Because like you said, it's more men watching women's basketball.
For the first time.
For the first time. You know, I'm even watching it. You know, I really never care about it, you know.
You ain't the only one at this table can say that.
Yeah. But I'm starting to watch it now, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, now these girls can play.
Yeah, I don't watch it.
But you know what?
Right? And shoot.
Here is going to be the reason that they're not playing. The USA women's basketball mandates that you give up 3 summers to be considered. Enrique Agumake for Dallas said, and she should be considered before both of them. If you remember her from the All-Star game, she had 34 points in the half.
That's a bad girl.
And she said she couldn't give up that time, so to take her name out of consideration. Now, having said that, I believe that both of them will make their first appearance in the USA for the 2028 Olympics.
Me too.
Well, they have to.
But that's a bad girl. And that girl can play with some guys.
Among others, Juju Watkins is there.
That girl.
Paige Becker is still in college. So, I don't think Tarazi will hang on for another Olympian. She'll be 46 44 at that time.
She can.
So I think there'll be some other spaces that they'll be available. Now, back to the men. I'm gonna say this: the men needed Kevin Durant because I've seen a noticeable difference from those games. They played Germany and South Sudan without Kevin Durant and with Kevin Durant.
And they say that this is proving that Kevin Durant and LeBron are still one of two of the top players in the NBA. The way they've taken over the game.
Those are the top 2 players on the Olympic team.
Well, you know what? Despite their criticism, I mean, Durant is kind of providing the role that Carmelo Anthony did a couple of Olympics ago. He's, when you need a basket, he's the guy that you can always go to, and he's going to get it for you. The thing that I find amazing, though, is LeBron at the age of 40, for all intents and purposes, still being the best player on this Olympic team.
Yep.
He's the guy that they're saying, okay, LeBron, make it happen. Whether you're going to take it to the basket or whether you're going to end up dishing the ball.
So is LeBron still the best player in the league?
No, he's not the best player in the league, but he's the best player on this Olympic
So
team.
who's the best player in the league?
Well, of course, it's the Joker, man. Joker's the best player in the league.
What about the boy that you talked about that was hurt and came back? What's his name? From Philadelphia. They say he's the best player in the league.
Embiid?
Come on, Maxie.
Embiid.
Oh, Embiid.
No, Embiid's a really good player, but you can never consider
If you look at it, when they set Jason Tatum down, I was saying the next game they need to sit Joel Embiid down for them. And they did.
I like Joel Embiid.
I like him.
But the only problem is, you know what? When you're playing with Joel, the ball comes to a stop.
Is that what's wrong? That's what's wrong with Philadelphia then? That's why they're not winning?
You can't do that in Olympic ball. Because that will be the surest way to get you beat.
And that's the way he has to play.
Because of his legs.
And his knees are bad.
Yeah.
His knees are bad. But yeah, I mean, Joker is undoubtedly right now the best player in the NBA. And you know,
Undoubtedly.
But who's better than Joker?
The boy with Milwaukee.
No.
The boy from Greece.
No.
Mark, this is a question for
After the
you.
Pool Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
No.
No,
Ain't no way.
He's better than the Joker.
So talk to him, Love Red, see?
Yeah.
Talk to him, Love Red.
I read that I was agreeing with you for a while. But you don't know. No, Giannis is better than the Joker. 1-on-1, Giannis is better.
Well, we found out when he had a bona fide player what happened. They couldn't make it. And he gets hurt some too. Joker doesn't get hurt.
Man, look, here's what's going to happen. If we're starting the team, Joker is going to make everybody on your team better. Antetokounmpo is an unselfish player, but the Joker makes everybody on that floor better. So you know what? You want to try to take my game away? You're going to double and triple team me? I'm going to hit the open guy every single time.
Joker's so good. What happened to him? Did he win again?
He lost this year, but he did.
Okay.
But he did win for 2 years in a row MVP, though, right?
So,
3 out of 4 because Embiid won.
but did he win the prize?
No.
That's what I'm asking. Who won the prize? Boston.
Mark Jones.
Well, what are you talking about? We ain't talking about nobody on Boston being an MVP.
What?
Because they won the championship.
Oh,
What the hell are you talking
They
about?
did win.
What Olympic
the
sports
best player-
are you
Make
excited
sure we
about,
get that
Mark
Twilight
Jones?
Zone drop next week, too, man.
They did. Tatum's MVP to me. But anyway, what are you asking?
What Olympic sports are you excited about seeing that you haven't seen yet?
Track and field.
Track and field, of course.
Yes.
That's gonna be
Yeah.
great.
Man, I'm waiting on that one.
It's track and field.
I want to see some boxing too.
I love when them girls get in the starting position, boy. Woo!
Don't do
That's
that.
what I'm talking about.
These opinions are Reginald Walker's own.
Absolutely.
They do not represent the station
Absolutely.
or the people on the back.
Don't talk to him though. Don't hang him on. We'll be off the air.
Hey, I know the FCC rules and regs better than anybody.
Okay.
So track and field, I think, is Shakari Richardson with Noah Lyons, these Americans. And I think there was one other
And that girl.
Jamaican Olympian sprinter called off the Olympics. So, it might not be, we'll see. I'm not going to put it out there that it's going to be easy.
No,
I mean,
it ain't gonna be. It's not gonna be
but
easy, but they should.
The Jamaicans are not there in force like they usually
Run.
are.
Jamaican girls run, man.
Nigeria got some sprinters too.
Well, you know, track and field is Jamaican's national sport.
Yeah, but don't watch out for the Nigerians.
Just under bobsledding, huh?
And then, hey, let me tell you, this is going to be a great year for Americans. The 16-year-old boy is going to be running in the, or has an opportunity to run in the mile relay. That's going to be nice if he gets to.
Yeah.
We also got boxing. I want to see how we do both men's and women's boxing. This could be the last year for boxing in the Olympics.
I hope we win a medal.
I hope we will win more than one. In the heyday, all the way back to, I can remember, all the way back to 68.
Yeah.
It was full. Then I told you guys, I saw all the 1976 Olympic team at Northwest Activity Center. My uncle brought them in. And I've been a fan of boxing, but it's losing its luster in America.
Well, boxing's lost its luster because of greed at the time and the failure to make prominent boxers have to fight each other within a timely period of time.
Do we know any
We all know
American
the
boxers,
Yeah.
or any boxers for that matter, that boxing in the Olympics?
No, I don't know anybody's name.
Well, how can you love the sport as much as you do? Don't know nobody's name.
I've been trying to look for it, but they don't publicize it as much as I thought. And I haven't been able to go to
Yeah, boxing used to be
Golden
the thing.
Gloves and AAU championships. It's my fault.
Yeah, boxing used to be the thing.
Yeah,
You know,
great.
the unfortunate part about boxing is the best thing about boxing is on YouTube and it's old clips, you know?
Yeah.
But you know,
Like,
that could all change with one fighter coming along. It just takes one.
You know what, though, Mark? I'm not a huge MMA fan. MMA fights force you to fight the best. You have to fight frequently. Boxing of the 40s and 50s, you couldn't go 3, 4, 5, 6 years and not fight an opponent.
Come on. That's
Well,
right.
Now, and there's always been,
Joe Lewis fought, they used to call it the bum of the month. Every month he was fighting.
but he was also fighting a contender during the course of the year.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Sugar
saying.
Ray Robinson.
But he was active.
Sugar Ray Robinson took all comers.
Always. Muhammad Ali did the same.
We have flyweight Roscoe Hill, featherweight Jamal Harvey, and welterweight Omari Jones will be scattered throughout this weekend boxing. Now, I remember we used to have one in every category. I hope we have more than 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a heavyweight, but I think you
Yeah,
all
heavyweight, light heavyweight, middleweight,
Yeah, but they cut down on the divisions this
you
year
know,
too.
welterweight,
Oh, there were 8.
bantamweight.
Yeah, there were only
Yeah,
8.
featherweight,
They used to have
bantamweight.
16 divisions, like you're saying, LeBret, but they cut it down to like 8. And the next thing is out. But they brought more women on this time than they ever had.
Well, you know what? We should see some compelling things as far as the women's boxing. You know? The U.S. should do very, very well in that.
Joshua Edwards is a super heavyweight.
Let's hope he wins.
So we'll see. Roscoe Hill, I think I mentioned him.
Super heavyweights, because Muhammad Ali wouldn't even be a super heavyweight. He was only 6'3", 210.
The Jennifer Lozano, a woman boxer. They have Morel McCain, a welterweight. Jaira Gonzalez, a lightweight. And Alyssa Mendoza, a featherweight. So those are the 8 Olympians. Now, on the sidebar, the state of Michigan had 17 Olympians. University of Michigan had 45. And we've already won 4 gold medals. Paul Judah and Fred Richard were on the Olympic gymnastic team that took a bronze in the team event. Savon Holly won a medal for a swimming relay race. This is her 2nd medal. And Elena Olsen won a bronze medal in rugby. And if you remember seeing the rugby competition, the United States was down in the bronze medal game, and a lady broke one tackle and went to the end zone, and they went for 2, and they won.
I'm glad for them. What you want me to say?
So, what did you say something about Dan Campbell? But anyway.
We still what? You know what? That girl, sprung that lady.
Yes.
It was like she came out like a shotgun.
Yes.
And I never seen somebody run so fast.
Uh-huh.
That girl run like police protection. She was gone, man.
Yes,
You
she
know,
was.
the whole team was trying to catch her. That girl, oh,
That's right, baby.
shit.
That's right.
She was moving. I know Simone Biles has continued her dominance.
Yes.
She won another gold medal today.
Today, baby.
She won the, I think the team won team, and she won an all around, and she won another. So
Yeah.
she's, and her husband, who should be playing tonight with the Chicago Bears, is over there. He got a leave of absence in his cheering home.
Hey,
I'm gonna tell you something.
Yeah.
I would have loved to be with my wife.
Oh, no, well, Simone, I mean, Biles.
Come on now.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on.
The best in the world.
Yes, I bet she is. Yes, sir.
hey, let me tell y'all something though.
But he probably been watching on
I wanna-
something play.
I want to ask you a question. I don't like the NBC coverage. I know you guys may disagree. I want to see some more sports, like some wrestling,
Now you know there are
Some
eight
weight-
It's not aimed at you.
There are
some
eight,
weightlifting.
there are 8 channels.
Yeah, but where are they?
USA Today, USA.
What do you
Has
watch?
about- I was USA. I turned
How
to
do you find all the
I
USA
turned to
channels?
205
But I
on
don't have.
Direct
It's
TV.
called a remote. And then you get the guys right there. And then you
I
say, it's on that channel. Oh,
And they have-
I'll be damned, the Olympics.
don't like it though, man. I
They
can't
have
find
an
it.
Olympic channel where you can see what everybody's doing, and you just click on the channel they're playing on. I want to say there are a bunch of networks that are
You'll
doing
see coverage.
You know what? I work all day,
You'll see coverage on
so I can't watch it there. But don't they play tonight?
well, the NBC streaming service. You'll see it there. You'll also see it on E! Entertainment. And if I'm not mistaken,
USA.
USA Univision is one of the other ones that we carry.
Does everybody have Univision?
And USA has 4 different channels.
Well, where are they? Everybody got the 4 channels that you're talking about?
Yeah, it's USA and on Direct TV is 242, 242.1, 242.2,
If you've got
242.3.
if you got standard cable, you should have all the channels.
I got more than standard cable.
You got
You got it.
Well, I gotta look at my thing, because I missed the basketball game.
And just tell your wife, wake up and turn the Olympics on for me.
Today is her birthday.
Give me a ham sandwich.
Today is her birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Lisa.
Happy birthday.
That's right.
Basketball is usually on USA. No, you
But
know,
I gotta work during the day, so I can't see it. And golf started today too.
I mean, you know what, Mark, all kidding aside, you have to remember, current coverage as far as the Olympics is concerned is not geared nor aimed to you.
What's the name to it?
It's geared for women between the ages of 18 and 50. So, I mean, you can tell that by the prominence of swimming, any of the dance things, synchronized diving.
I don't wanna see that.
well, then
volleyball,
swimming, Reggie, swimming, we used to done, I mean, we're doing okay. But swimming, we do fairly well in, so they're gonna publicize that.
Absolutely. But it's
Yeah.
all the things that we're talking about are things that skew very well for the women audience. If you also notice, you've got celebrities who are actually hosting part of the Olympics this year too. You've got Snoop Dogg over there.
What happened to weightlifting? I love that.
You know,
Man.
that's just what every woman wants to see.
I'm
man.
not a
So,
woman. I'm
so
not a
when
woman. I'm talking about men's rights now.
What kind of
You like that?
you still have misogynist over there?
No, I just want to see my sport that I like.
I think they
You
got
like
that
the-
on the
You
band.
like the men's sports, don't you? Man, I love the men's. Okay, all right.
Greco-Roman wrestling.
MEN apostrophe S.
Do you like the Greco?
MEN
Hey,
apostrophe
I ain't
S.
mad at you, man.
do you like the Greco-Roman sports for the oil of the month?
No, I don't watch sports like this. I watch the volleyball. I was watching beach volleyball.
See, we see where your mind is working. We're talking sports. I ain't talking
You talking about manly sports? I just put a real manly one out there for the old Greek.
We talk about manly deeds, though.
Now, do you know that you made me lose my train of thought? You started.
I didn't make you do that.
Yeah, you did.
You lost.
I was going to say something, but the Olympics, I really like watching team handball. Team handball.
What's wrong with you?
No, wait a minute. Before you say that, have you ever watched team handball?
No,
No.
I don't want to.
So
That's
you
why.
can't tell me what's wrong with me.
Because I don't want
I
to
mean,
watch
yeah, I
TV
feel like
handball.
Michael Jordan throwing the ball in the net.
I would rather, I would rather watch Olympic ping pong. That's
Oh,
great.
I like ping pong.
That's the-
I like ping pong.
Ping pong.
Ping pong.
Yeah.
Them guys.
Luke, you're right. I can't follow that. No, I can't follow the ball. It's all over the place.
Big John across the street from me was 6'5", 6'6", and his best sport was ping pong.
Oh, Lord.
He could make that ball
Big
run.
John, we never knew.
I'm serious.
But we're going to wrap it up with this. The Olympics have been going on for about 150 years. And we want to know who is the best American Olympian of all time.
I gotta throw a bunch of names
Mark
out
probably
there.
knows somebody in the 1900s.
Carl Lewis, don't forget Jim Thorpe.
Ding.
Carl Lewis, though.
Okay.
Carl Lewis, yeah.
Now, the most medal winner of all time is Michael Phelps.
Well,
Yeah.
there's almost two categories. You can talk about his athletic accomplishments within the Olympics, and then you can also talk about, for example, Jesse Owens in the 1936 Olympics.
Yes,
right?
you can.
What that meant against the Nazi regime at the time. The same
Yeah.
thing with Joe Louis and Schnell. All right, means the
Those
exact
two
same
are
thing.
categories like you had Jackie
But
Robinson,
Joe Lewis
where
and
it's not
son
just
didn't
their
fight in the
sport,
I'm sorry.
it's what they had to
Correct.
fight to play that sport.
That's right. That's right.
What about Wilma Rudolph?
Yeah. Tiger Bell.
You know what? I would put maybe for those who are old enough to remember Mark Spitz winning 7 gold medals in 1972 Olympics. I mean, that's still an incredible defeat as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm. And one who's racing now, and is talking about racing, swimming in 2028 in the United States. Katie Ledecky.
Yeah.
You know what? Ledecky is almost unfair as to what she has done to the field and competitions that she's been swimming. I mean, she's a phenomenal athlete. I just think, you know what, we tend to like the sports with a little bit more glitz and glamour to them, you know, for whatever reason it may be. But correct, you are. I'll definitely say she stands up there.
The track though, boy. Carl Lewis was a bad man. Hey, what about Edwin Moses?
Well, he
never lost.
he only won 1 gold medal.
That's true. But he was a bad man.
Mm-hmm. On the streets of Atlanta.
Why did he only win 1 gold medal? What happened?
He only ran, I think, in '84.
And why is he on the streets of Atlanta?
He
went to Morehouse.
he got a charge on him or something.
No, he didn't, did he?
Yes, he did.
Oh, man.
Oh. Let's see. What about, Muhammad Ali was a great boxer, launched his career.
But he only had one, he only was there once. And he threw his gold medal into the river.
Michael Jordan,
Only there once.
twice Dream Team and 1984.
Well, that's true.
You know, if you go back 40 or 50 years, the cathletes had a lot of
Bruce Jenner was one of the greatest athletes in the world. He's called members on the meeting spot.
Yeah, but she
okay.
came through right now. So
Yeah.
World's greatest athlete.
no shame. He was.
Don't go there, they're gonna take the license away. Don't
Yeah.
go there.
We will not go there. But
World's greatest athlete was Bruce Jenner.
No. Rayford Johnson.
No, Bruce Jenner wasn't the best.
He was world at the time. He was the Kaplan winner. He was on the Wheaties box.
Yeah, I mean, he was well publicized, but I'm not giving it to Bruce.
He was all around athlete.
Of course, he was a athlete. You know, but I mean, he was a well publicized athlete. He wasn't the best that we've seen in the Olympics. If you
Jack Joyner Kersey.
and you did Jack and Johnny Curson and the other one.
Florence Griffith.
Float Joe.
Yeah, she still got the record.
Float Joe.
Was she running 10-4? Something like that? She was
But it'd
bad.
be interesting to see, because Flojo had the nails too, just like Shikari.
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how the baton exchange goes. Because you know America messes up some baton changes.
Hey, did you know that, did you know that Chris Aldridge told me he ran a 10-6, but he wasn't the fastest on UAD's team?
You know what, Mark, you have a problem. The audience doesn't know who Chris Aldridge is.
That's all right. I'm just telling you, at UAD High, in the 80s, they had a guy that ran a 10-6, and he wasn't the fastest on the team. That's what's his name was? No, the other guy. Just slips my mind right now.
Ron McDonald?
No. Somebody in their class. He graduated in '82. I think he went to Howard as well.
Barrington?
Yes.
Was Jim Ryan, was he a long distance runner or was he a decathlete?
Ryan?
Jim Ryan, yes.
Jim Ryan was a mile.
I think he was a long distance runner.
No, I used to go down every year. I used to go down to the. They used to have the NCAA tournament, an indoor tournament at Cobo. I saw all those guys run, Jim Ryan and all that. It was great.
Was Ronaldo Nehemiah, was he an American or was he?
No, he was an American.
He was American. He tried to play. I know he tried to play football. He had speed.
Yeah.
But
Nehemiah.
that doesn't always translate into football.
Right.
But
Couple pops. You're down.
No, yeah, it was great athletes have come around our day. That's for sure.
well, I want to just Dylan Hall update. She won a 6th Athlete of the Year in Detroit, and she was honored at the ceremony last week. And she's going to be in a nationwide tournament in August. So again, Dylan Hall, aim to remember.
Is she a prodigy? Sounds like it because she hasn't been playing that long.
I think so. She's only been playing. She started out with tennis. She plays basketball, and now she's into golf full time. So we shall see.
And how old is she?
11.
That's great.
Wow.
That's great.
You know what, guys? This hour is the fastest hour going. We're at the end.
Well, let me say this to Detroit. We're glad to be back. We are glad to be back, and I hope you're enjoying the show. You can catch us. Where can they catch us, Jimmy? You
can catch us on YouTube after Sunday when our show comes on 6 to 7 a.m. on WHYT or YZ.
WXYZ.
WXYZ. And we're on 6 to 7 on the Hip Hop Sports Station. And you can catch us on YouTube afterwards on Dabo Presents Detroit Bullseye Sports under the Wake Up Call Detroit YouTube page.
So long.
So signing out, James Wardell,
Reggie Walker.
And Mark Jones. So long, Detroit.